The Islanders get a big win over the Blues Saturday, 2-1. We'll talk about our key takeaways from the game. We'll discuss an Islanders forward who has been one of the most consistent players on the team, not just this year, but for the last several years. The Islanders make a waiver claim, and we'll tell you how the Islanders can pull off the upset against the Colorado Avalanche tonight at UBS Arena. All that and more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know the Islanders did with their 2-1 win over the St. Louis Blues. Want to thank everybody for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. We on today's show, the Islanders have claimed a player on waivers. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about one of the most consistent forwards on the Islanders, not just this year, but for the past few years and what he means to the team. And we have our key takeaways from the big win over the Blues. Next game against the Avalanche, telling you what the Islanders need to do to pull off the big upset. Let's get to Saturday's game against St. Louis. And I think that stood out to me that after 4 shots, 17, then uh, the blue matter on goal team. Team more to you can take out is a most thing. Ilya Sorokin played another solid all across and Pular, but 3 for Andy Green, 3 for Eddie Falsh Bailey, Matt March with 2 shots. And you know, you don't expect that many forwards to be involved in shot blocking. So you really had a team effort defensively, and that was great to see. Also, sticking up for each other. We saw the Scotty Mayfield fight. That was encouraging, at least that the Islanders weren't getting down. And Oliver Wahlstrom scoring a goal, his first goal in games. And the power thing, something that this under team needs that production from. So that was encouraging as well. And then goal on power play early second period. Brock Nelson, his 20th of the year for this year. Only Islanders player to reach 20 goals season. And, from Nelson him. Goals this year. You pace that out in 37 goals. Last year in abbreviated season, that's 2 games. 26 goals, 19, 20, 20 season goal pace. Before that, 25 goals. He has been just so remarkably consistent over the course of his career. And here he still playing remarkably consistent hockey. And just, he's not a sniper. He's not a 30, 35 goal a year guy, although this year he is on pace for 37 goals. So, but overall, a consistent player, not the kind of guy who, like some other forwards, is going to disappear for 5 or 10 games at a time and then get hot for 5 or 10 games at a time. Brock Nelson, not an attention getter, but a really consistent part of the Islanders' attack and an important part of that attack as well. I mean, think back to the playoffs last year, the B&B line of Bailey and Bavillia is the most consistent line on the team. Great to see that as well. As far as some frustration, how about Kyle Palmieri? 2 goals waved off in this game against the Blues. The first one, I think it was the right call. I think there was goalie interference. Clearly, the player in front hit the stick of Jordan Binnington, and that interfered with him while he's creased. The signal called back because of stick. I don't think that was the right call, but it was close. To me, in a situation where it's that close, there wasn't enough to overturn the call on the ice, which was that it was a goal. But did so, and the Islanders have to feel a little snake bitten by that. But fortunately, the Islanders' job done. Hold on for the 2-1 win and play the kind of hockey that they really need to play to win. It's something we haven't seen from them on a game that will clearly be a big challenge for the Islanders. Later on, a question, a comment, a topic that you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to send us an email. The email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. Mention you on Twitter @LockedOnIslanders and use Wars NYRVSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings. And I am live tweeting during home and road games, so I'll give insight and analysis. And it's always great to interact with fans during games and really anytime. So please do be up on Twitter. It's always great to talk to Islanders fans and to listeners to the show. We have got a lot more to talk about. We will talk about a waiver that the Islanders made on Sunday. Plus, what is the secret to beating the Colorado Avalanche? It's not to do, but we'll explain how the Islanders could pull off the upset. That and a lot more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Athletic Greens. I started to use this product recently. I wanted to have more energy, and I wanted to have something that tastes great and to sort of replace pills and vitamins that I'd always been taking. And I'll tell you, so far, so good. I mean, what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All of these things. Now, I've been taking it in the morning before I head out and start work. And I'll tell you, it has absolutely been a big beneficial. I mean, tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. Well, AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take great care of yourself. And your subscription comes with a year's supply of vitamin D, which is so important to add in these winter months when we don't get as much sunlight. And look, this product is lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. And it supports better sleep quality and recovery, supports mental clarity and alertness. It's the one thing with the best things. Athletic Greens uses the best of the best products based on the latest science with constant product iterations and third-party testing. So right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immunosupporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance. Thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen. Now for your next listen, check out Locked On Now. Nightly recaps of every NHL game with analysis from our local experts every Monday through Friday. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. So the Islanders made a waiver move on Sunday. They reclaimed Austin Czarnik from the Seattle Kraken. Now, Czarnik was with the Islanders up until about a month ago when Seattle claimed him on waivers. Now the Islanders have claimed him back. He picked up 2 assists in 6 games with the Kraken and had 5 points in 11 games with the Islanders. I always like Czarnik. He is sort of a great guy to fill in whenever someone in the lineup is not available, because you know you're going to get effort from him. You can put him on the 4th line, 3rd line, maybe even for a game or 2, the 2nd line if you need to. But, you know, he'll hustle. He's good in the locker room. He's got some skill, even if he's not a big guy with a lot of size. And I think he is a good guy for the Islanders to have back in the lineup, or at least available, whether he's a healthy scratch, goes down to Bridgeport, or finds himself back on the island. And here's the key question, though, in the back of my mind. You know, the trade deadline is just 2 weeks away right now. Does bringing back Austin Czarnik mean that, you know, you have him available if someone else is moved, if another forward is traded? No specific information there, but it is a distinct possibility. But that's part of what the team is thinking. All right. Tonight, the Islanders back in action, taking on the Colorado Avalanche. They went toe-to-toe with just last week before losing 5-3 in Denver. And now it's 7:30 tonight Eastern time at the UBS Arena, the second and final meeting between these two teams. And the Islanders played well enough to win in that first meeting. They had a lead going into the 3rd period, couldn't quite hold it. But they are capable of, you know, if they play a game similar to what they did against St. Louis, they are capable of staying with Colorado, and they showed that. And the Avs, by the way, since that win over the Islanders, they lost in Arizona 2-1, lost to the Calgary Flames 4-3. They, winless since that game. So, the Avs, who have been one of the best teams in the league all year round, just hitting a little speed bump, and maybe the Islanders are catching them at time. And one key to winning against the Colorado Avalanche, and it's not an easy thing to do, but the Islanders have to take advantage of the fact that the Colorado penalty kill is a little below average. They're 20th in the league on the PK, a 77.6% success rate. The power play is better, 22.7%. That's 11th in the league. So special teams, especially the power play, the Islanders inconsistent so far on the power play. When they're on, and they played well against the Blues with the extra attacker, they move the puck. The players on the ice move without the puck, and someone is in front of the net for those tip-ins, screens, and deflections. That's going to be one of the big keys for the Islanders as to how they can find a way to beat the Avalanche. Colorado, second in the league in goals scored, 12th in goals against. We saw Darcy Kemper last week, and he played okay against the Islanders. But again, they're a little bit and struggling. This is the Avalanche. Their struggles most teams love to have. A lot of dangerous players on this team. Gabriel Landeskog, 30 goals to lead the team. Mikko Rantanen, 26. Nazem Kadri, 22. Kadri leads the team with 48 assists and 70 points. And, Cale Makar, we saw what magic he can weave. 42 assists, including 17 assists on the power play. That leads the team there. Mikko Rantanen, a guy to watch for with the extra attacker. He has 11 goals on the power play, and somebody you have to be aware of. Let's look at the line combinations for the Avs. Nathan McKinnon, the center on the top line. Andre Burkowski and Mikko and Nick for Comfort is center on line 3 with Alex Newhook and Logan O'Connor on either side of him. And then from left to right on the fourth line, Aaron Helm, Tyson Jost, Nicholas Audet, Kubel, Devontae, Islander, and Cale Makar pick up one of the best pairings in the league. Jackson, who would be at times his second pair with Samuel Girardi, and pair for Mo and Byram is listed as out. If we hear anything about them being available before tonight, we'll let you know. And Darcy and Havel and they have to cut down. And we saw that matchup. 2 opportunities for the Avalanche. This hardly is X for the Avalanche. Maybe a little extra incentive if it's Varlas, it'll be interesting makes in this game. Still waiting day, still on the upper back. We've got more to. We've got our Islanders' birthday. Stay with us. More to get to on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at Bet Online. Football may be over for this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds. pretty much, if you could think about it and you want to bet on it, you could find it at betonline.net. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. Bet online, where the game starts. Today's episode is also brought to you by your friends at Built Bar. This is the time of year I've pretty much given up on all my New Year's resolutions, but not this year. I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. Have you tried the Puffs? Well, if you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy. They're not just a protein bar, they're a treat. And like all Built Bars, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors like yummy cinnamony churro, coconut marshmallow, and banana cream pie. So good, they're going to be your new favorites. Most Built Bars contain just 130 calories, only 4 grams of sugar, and 4 net carbs, but they pack 17 grams of protein. And at Built Bar, they're all about the taste. They make it taste delicious first, then they figure out how to make it healthy. And I don't know how, but they pull it off every time. Go to Built.com and use the promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. We're going to go back to the Islanders franchise. And today, 7 with St. Mike's, and this 70-71. Leafs 22 goal. The Leafs was an original member of the Atlanta Flames in their first NHL season, also the Islanders season. And the Islanders in their second 1974. 74-75, 25 points, and stayed with the team through the 1976-77 season. So, right way, really reliable, up and down, and did a good job defense in the odd goal. In the day, and from the 70s at 5'11", 172. That size. In my game, being 2 of 3 preliminary against the Vancouver Canucks, 1986 at the Colorado Avalanche. For the Islanders, Kurt Ridley, the net man. Vancouver getting on the board early. Andre St. Laurent off for high sticking. He got the extra 2 minutes after having a fight with Mike Walton of the Canucks, and the Canucks make the Islanders pay. Dennis Vervegard, his first in the playoffs from Dennis Kearns and Rick Blight at 2:58. Isles trailing 1-0. But Jerry Hart equals it up at the 6:01 mark. His first in the playoffs. Dennis Potvin and Brian Trottier with the assists. Isles tie it at 1. But Bobby Lalonde of Vancouver off for hooking, and John Gould gets a handed goal. His first from Chris Odlofsson at 8:18. Isles down 2-1 on their own home ice. But the Islanders do bounce back. Bobby Lalonde called for hooking, and Billy Harris scores on the power play, his first unassisted at 8:28. The first period ends with the two teams even at 2 apiece. But in the second period, the Islanders strike again. Dave Lewis off for holding for the Islanders, and Lorne Henning gets a shorty, his first. The captain, Ed Westfall, and Burt Marshall with the assists 10 seconds into the second period, and the Islanders have a 3-2 lead. Then our Islanders' birthday of the day, Billy McMillan, his first of the playoffs. Jude Drouin and J.P. Parise, yes, that is Zach's dad, with the assists at 5:36. Bobby Nystrom tallies at 8:20 from Gary Howard and Dennis Potvin. And after 2 periods, the Islanders have a 5-2 lead. In the third period, Brian Trottier is off for interference, and right off the faceoff, Bob Daly of Vancouver scores his first of the playoffs. Chris Odlefson with the only assist. That was all she wrote. Islanders 5-3 for McMillan. Islanders' birthday of the day. He has a goal. He is a +1. 2 shots. That goal turned out to be the game winner. Chico Resch, 29 saves to earn the win in a game where the Islanders were outshot 32-3, but came away with the win thanks in part to the big game winner by Bill McMillan. So again, happy 69th birthday to Bill McMillan. He is our Islanders' birthday. Big game tonight facing the Avalanche. Another litmus test. You know, you put together back-to-back wins against the Blues and the Avalanche. That is for this Islanders team. It really would show that they are kind of on the road to stabilizing things. We need to see that consistency from this team down the stretch, one way or the other. So make sure that you check with us. We'll let you know if either Matt Barzal or Zdeno Chara are ready to come back into this game, and we'll have all the latest updates for you. On tomorrow's show, we'll have our key takeaways as well. Thanks for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Hosts Steele Roden and Flip Livingstone help you become the expert of your fantasy league. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. That does it for this episode of the Islanders podcast. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Of course, let's go Islanders.